Well, that ends the 2023 NFL draft, and the Miami Dolphins did. Nah. What is up, Finn fans? Very uneventful draft, but only having four picks, it kind of tends to be uneventful. But we're going to talk about it. I'm going to talk about the four picks. Obviously, we talked about Cam Smith. We talked about Devon A-Chain. We're going to talk about Elijah Higgins and Ryan Hayes, the two guys that we just picked up in the 6th and 7th round. Just to let you know, undrafted free agents are being signed like crazy for today and tomorrow. When I get a full list is when I'm going to make a video. So I'm not going to constantly make videos being like, oh, the Dolphins signed so-and-so, and the Dolphins signed so-and-so. So when the full list, like when the Dolphins do their full due diligence and get all of the undrafted free agents, I will give you a list. Just real quick, though, the Dolphins did bring FSU quarterback James Blackman. They signed him, and they signed Jackson State linebacker Aubrey Miller. So far, two as of right now. And again, I'm not going to keep updating you with videos and videos and videos, but I just wanted to give you guys, let you know that as the list is compiled, when it's done, I will make a video about that. So I got that video coming. I got a video talking about free agents that we could still go after. I'm going to talk about Dalvin Cook at the end of this video because a lot of people are still questioning the Dalvin Cook situation, and I'll see if I can put some clarity to that. I'll talk about that at the end of this video. So wait till the end of this video if you were like, hey, are we still going after Dalvin Cook? Because it don't seem like it after getting, Devon A-Chain. I'll talk about that. But let's talk about Elijah Higgins, and let's talk about Ryan Hayes, and then talk about the draft in a whole. So the Dolphins, with the 197th pick, 6th round, take tight end / wide receiver. He's a 6'3", 234 wide receiver, but he's also listed as a tight end. I don't know. Elijah Higgins. Elijah Higgins is a physical presence on the field who provides the quarterback with a big downfield target and a large catch radius. He's faster than he looks, but he is best on short and intermediate routes with yak potential. His future may be as a wide receiver / tight end hybrid. That's what he'll do in Miami. Similar to Juan Jennings of the 49ers. I'm hearing a lot of similarities to a lot of different tight ends and all these different people. His rating is a 73.94. He has a chance to start. I'm hearing he's a Mike Gesicki, but taken in the 6th round. Probably a red zone threat and all that stuff. I do like yak. So his strength, huge target in the passing game, physical run blocker. That's a plus. Wins at the top of routes because of physicality. Works mostly short intermediate routes. Does damage with ball in hands because of size. Weakness, no particular explosive / fast. Most of his possession receivers with yak ability. Doesn't run a lot of deep passes. Doesn't create a lot of separation on top of route. So he's probably going to be a tight end first. He's a 6th round pick. I will say this though. Zach Kuntz was on the board when they took Elijah Higgins. And then Zach Kuntz went to the New York Jets. I don't understand why they didn't go for Zach Kuntz. I don't know if they didn't like. Again, they have different situations and ideas than I and everyone else do, but he was on the board. And the fact that he was on the board in the 6th and the Dolphins didn't take him is, again, another head scratcher. 40-yard dash for Elijah Higgins, 4.54, not too bad. Vertical, 35-inch. Broad jump, 10 feet, 6 inches. 3-cone drill, 7 seconds. He's going to be your, 3rd and 1, short downage, red zone target threat. But he's a 6th rounder, so it is what it is. He's that hybrid. Think of Charles Clay. He was that hybrid that we got too. We'll see how that pans out. And then with their last pick 738, they took Ryan Hayes, offensive tackle out of Michigan. Pro comparison, Brandon Smith. Ryan Hayes has been a key cog on one of college's football's best offensive lines over the past 2 years. He is a competitor who drives his feet in the run game. He has good play strength and eyes to pick up loopers. Loopers are the stunts. Those are loopers. Because a lot of times what happens is you're facing, and then the one guy will go forward. So you think, oh, I need to attack him. But then all of a sudden he steps back and loopers. Pick up loopers. Overall athleticism is limited, and that likely limits him to being a power/gap scheme fit. Teams may take issue with arm length if committed to playing him on the corner. So he's probably going to be a guard. Drives feet on contact and run game. He's a competitor. Good eyes to pick up loopers. Good upper body strength. So yeah, he's probably going to be competition at guard. Abandons pass set technique when challenged by quick rushers. I'm not putting him on the outside. Below average job of locking onto defenders in space. May not be fast enough to contend with NFL edge rushers. Yeah, he's going to be on the inside. Ran a 5.18, 30-inch vert. The verts and everything don't matter. It's 7.39 cone. Those all don't matter. So overall, that's who we took. Cam Smith, very physical corner. A lot of people had him top grade, like bottom first, early second, and we got him at the end of the second. CBS gave that an A- grade. Then we have Devon A-Chain, incredibly, again, think Darren Sproles, an incredibly fast burner of a running back. He's small, he's elusive. Listed at 185, but that's because he was doing track. I found that out from a very reliable source. He was doing track at the end of the football season, so he lost the weight to do track and field. He'll probably put it back on, probably get back to about 200. Think of Raheem Mostert. Raheem Mostert did the same thing. When he came out of college, he was about 189. Then he put the weight back on. He was about 200 to 210-ish. So I expect that to happen when camp starts for him. Again, he's perfect for the scheme, but is he an every down back? No. 100% not. And again, I will talk about that in a second. They gave that a B+, CBS. And you have Elijah Higgins. Again, just talked about him. They gave him a B+. And then Ryan Hayes, they gave that pick a C+. So if I went off of them, A-, B+, B+, C+, I would say it's a B+. I think that the C+ and the A- kind of negate themselves. And they would give him a B+. I would give it a B-. Just because, again, this is what I would have done. Who am I? I have no scouting experience. I didn't go to any of these pro days. I didn't go to the combine. I didn't, I'm nobody. But this is who I would have picked in certain situations. And a lot of them surprised me, right? Like with Devon A-Chain and Cam Smith, they surprised the heck out of me, especially with a ton of other people on the board. And then, Elijah Higgins, there was Zach Kuntz still on the board. They go with the hybrid instead of a legit tight end. And then with the last pick in Ryan Hayes, I wanted Voorhees, but he went beforehand. A lot of these guys the moves were, but you sit back, you look at it. Like the Cam Smith, I understand. He's 6 foot, 6'1". He's tall. If you watch his video of him celebrating, hugging his mother, he is long. He's a long corner. He's probably going to be, X's replacement eventually. Going to learn from two of the best corners in the NFL. It works, and I understand the pick, but it just as of right now. So, like I said, it's a B- for me. But again, we won't know for 3 years. I always give these guys 3 years. If you notice, I do every 3-year thing. But this is what I got from this draft. The Miami Dolphins are in a win now mode. We all know they're in a win now mode. Hey, Doug, but then why did they go and get Cam Smith, who's down the road type thing? That's what the draft is. You don't really draft to a win now situation. So I think that's why, that's why they came out, Mike McDaniel and Chris Greer, and said what they said in their presser. They had a presser again today, but I think it's the same redundant stuff on why they picked certain players and, we felt this, and we're not going to waste our time listening or reacting to it. But you look at it, right? They didn't trade any picks. They didn't move up. They didn't trade down. They were like, we're going to take guys who we can develop, because what we're doing right now is we're going to go back into the free agency pool. We're going to look back at the trades and continue to add assets, right? Right tackle. They did talk to Taylor Lewan. Chris Greer came out and said it, but it was more of a month ago, picked up the phone, called his representatives, saw how he's doing physically. Is he willing to play right tackle? Yada, yada. Okay, we'll get back to you. Hung up the phone. So they did talk to Taylor Lewan. They brought in Cameron. They still have the phone number of Shell. So they're thinking of things to do at right tackle. So probably what's going to happen now, and again, I'm going to make a video on its own. They're going to bring in the undrafted free agents, which the Miami Dolphins are very good at. Bring in the undrafted free agents, and then they're going to go back to the free agency pool, because after June 1st, they're getting money. And if they move on from Cedric Wilson Jr., which is a possibility, not saying it will or won't happen, they get even more money. They could have about $27 million in cap space after June 1st with moves that they can make. Also, you got to think they also can finally, give Christian Wilkins an extension. That clears up cap space. They can give Connor Williams an extension. That clears up cap space. They could do a lot and get a ton of cap space. So there's still moves that they're going to make, but you can tell from their draft, they didn't add picks. They didn't, take their 6 and 7 move up. They didn't take their 3 drop back, and, because they really like Devon Achane. They met with him a few times. So they are in a win now mode, and they show it because of what they're doing when it comes to building their roster and free agency and all that stuff. But again, to me, the draft, I don't hate Cam Smith, the player. I don't hate him being on the Dolphins. I really like the corner, and I think it's a smart move. I just thought we go into this draft thinking they're going to go into the draft and try to, we need a tackle, we need a tight end. They're going to go into the draft and get those 2 things, and then, everything's, fantastic. And they're like, no, we're going into the draft and doing this for the future. They had an idea that they wanted to do, and we had an idea that we wanted them to do, and it didn't coincide. So we got mad. And I'm one of them, because when Cam Smith, I was like, huh? We were thinking linebacker, we were thinking tackle, we were thinking tight end, and then all of a sudden they went corner, and we were like, what? And then they went running back, even though Dalvin Cook was a possibility, and they bring 4 running backs back, and we're like, what? So we have one preconceived notion, and they're like, that was never the plan. We don't know who told you that, but that was never the plan. And that's what happens with the draft. And that's why a lot of times, especially 2020's draft, everyone wanted to know, do I want 2 at 5? Do I want 2 at 5? I'm not putting my eggs in one basket, because you get let down and you get mad. And that's what happened. So overall, it's a solid draft for the players they took. Like Elijah Higgins, I think is going to be a nice hybrid, a wide receiver tight end hybrid. I think he's going to be dangerous in this system. Devon Achane is going to be incredibly dangerous in out of the backfield, in screenplays and all that stuff. Incredibly dangerous. And Cam Smith is going to be hopefully a future corner star for us. Think of Xavier Howard, 2nd round pick. Here comes Cam Smith. And then Ryan Hayes, I don't know what he's going to be. He's a 7th round pick. He might make the team, might not make the team. So that's my thoughts on the draft. Now, real quick, let's talk about Dalvin Cook, because I talked to one of my friends who he has sources, but I don't have sources. And Dalvin Cook still wants to be a Dolphin. And you could tell because he was FaceTime with Cam Smith. He's excited, and he's from Miami. I told you guys already that they save $11 million in cap space if they trade him post June 1st. So I kept telling you guys that, and I kept saying it because I didn't expect it to happen in the draft, because they save more money if they wait. You see the Lions traded their running back for nothing to the Eagles. Things can still happen. There's still fluidity. Hopkins wants to be traded. We'll see if Cedric Wilson Jr., you got Dalvin Cook. There's still guys that want to be moved that aren't happy in their situation, and there's still things that can happen. It's so funny because when I was freaking out about the tackles and getting bothered that the Dolphins were sitting on their hands, I got told, Doug, it's March. Well, it's May. It's going to be May tomorrow. And they still aren't. But the Dalvin Cook situation, Dalvin wants to play for the this is what I'm hearing, and then I'll tell you what my thoughts are. Dalvin wants to play for the Dolphins, and he is willing to take less money to play for the Dolphins. He's willing to take a reasonable contract, not $12 million, $14 million. He's willing to take a reasonable contract to play for Miami. It's now up to if Miami wants to, incorporate the Dalvin Cook situation. The way I see it with Devon Achane, he's not a 3-down back. I think Devon Achane is a good accompanying back. He's a good 1-2 punch. Like in a perfect world, it would be Dalvin Cook and Devon Achane. That's your 1-2 punch right there. And if you look at the contracts that they gave, I already talked about this. for the 4 running backs, more specifically the 3 in Wilson, Ahmed, and Gaskin. All 3 of those guys can be moved on before June 1st and given no money. So there is a ton of fluidity when it comes to the running backs. So to sit here and say the Dolphins took Devon Achane, they're not going to go after Dalvin Cook is not true. I'll keep you updated. Not saying it's going to happen, but to say it's done deal, it's over because they went after Devon Achane, not true. So all I know right now, Cook wants to play for the Dolphins. It's up to the Dolphins after June 1st if they want to make that move. And they have the fluidity with the contract of the running backs that they can make the move. That's all I know. That's all I can tell you. I'll keep you guys updated and all that stuff. If I get more insider information, maybe I'll put it on the Patreon. And then if it becomes true, I'll release it because I don't want to give you guys false information. But other than that, I will see you guys tomorrow. Follow me on Twitter. If you're not yet, and follow me on Twitter. If you like, I don't have a Twitter, I'll try to keep it up to date and put it in the community tab. But like I said, when I get the full list of undrafted free agents, I'll make a video about that. And then I'm going to talk for free agency. I got the Big O coming on this week. I have some other projects happening. It's going to be, there's no off season for me. So I will see you guys real soon. I think we just broke 41,000 too. Crazy. Love you guys. And I'll see you in the next one. But like usual, stay classy and fins up.